Wednesday LiveStream for Dulcimer Crossing. Today we're going to be looking at crooked tunes, and this is a topic that has been suggested by more than one person, and so here we are. Crooked tunes. What are crooked tunes? Well, if we step back for a minute, we like to play a variety of a lot of tunes, right? If you're a musician, you like the tunes you like. And you often don't think about what the time signature is or what the meter is, or well, I guess those are the same thing. Unless you're noticing there's something about tunes that are a little bit different. So um, let's take a look at this tune, Tater Patch. And let's hide that a little bit right there. So you may say, I don't know if that's a crooked tune, but if I count it 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. So they don't come out even. They may be still having even numbers of beats, but something about the way the tune works isn't the single time signature at the beginning doesn't help us, doesn't show us how the tune actually behaves throughout the tune. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I love that tune. It's a beautiful old time mountain tune. In fact, if we had written it not with a 4/4 time signature, we might have come up with, if we'd written it with 1/4, so 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Or I mean, if we come up with using twos, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. The new phrase always starts on 1. I forgot to put up my Facebook so I can see when you have questions. That's what I need to do. So it's not crooked in that there's missing a beat somewhere. There are tunes that behave that way. This is just not one of them. This is one of the ones that's crooked because in part of it, you've got an extra 2/4 measure, and this is where we make choices when we write things down. We decide, I think I really want to do this in 4/4 rather than 2/4, which means when we get to that end two and we have that extra thing that's happening, we have to make a decision. Are we going to make that a 6/4 measure, or are we going to make it a 2/4 measure? And let's do this and then turn off the sound. There we go. So this is the kind of thing that happens in several different tunes. That's a traditional tune. Let's look at Elk River Blues, written by Ernie Carpenter in West Virginia, as he was watching, they built a new dam, and he was watching his farmland all disappear. Let's see. So it's crooked in that you can't just do 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. There's extra stuff in there. It's got that same 6/4 kind of feel. Now, how is this different? That's Elk River Blues, but how is that different from this one? This is one I wrote called The Club-Footed Jib. And Jim, you're going to love this. Now, why is that not crooked, even though it feels like there's kind of a hitch? It's because it's in a 7/8 time signature. We're used to 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, or 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6, or 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 2 3 4, but 1 2 3 7. This is a time signature which is one of the many not Eastern time signatures from the Adriatic kind of area of Europe, where 7/8, 5/8, things like that are, oh, thanks, Jamie. They're natural. So the time signature itself is written so it's not in an even time signature. And the dancers who dance that music tend to do something, and Jim talks about this because he's really been into some of these tunes before. I do it 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. So I'm breaking up my 7 because it's so hard to count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, because we say 2 syllables for 7, which makes it last 8. So we have to go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1. And in the music that naturally shows up in those regions, the pulse is subdivided inside. So I'm doing it to begin with 1 2 3 4 1 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. Now in this B part, 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. In that one, I'm putting the 3s at the beginning and the end and putting 2 4 measures next to each other. And then it's 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. And then we start it all over again. So the difference, it's not crooked because it is just a different time signature. And that's the important difference. It makes it fun. And for me, crooked tunes are particularly fun because they're different. They stand out. And when I hear one, I want to play it. So here's a crooked one, Tater Patch. So part of what's interesting, this has got 2 things in it that I love. One is I'm starting on the E, which is the second step of the scale, and I'm playing a D chord. This is a tune that's got a D key signature. But the last chord is A. And in the A part, the chords are only A's and D's and A's. But in the B part, it's a G chord. So it's really a Mixolydian time signature because, oh, my Bonnie Light Horseman is crooked in two places. That's cool. I've heard the title, but I'm not familiar with that tune. So in this tune, the A part is 8 measures long, and you repeat it, which comes out to 16. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's one time through. Now 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You're expecting to have that pattern, the da 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 da. You're expecting having it 4 times, but the B section of the song does it 3 times. So I have a song that's got the A part is 8 measures twice, which comes out to 16, and the B part is 12. So it's crooked in kind of the long form kind of crooked. And when I was first trying to learn this, I loved the sound of the tune, and I was always late coming into the A part because I expected it to keep on going and have a 4/4 measure. And that's the kind of examples of crooked. So on here, we just had a 6/4 measure at the end. And I'm going to show you something different in just a minute, which is a way of dealing with that thing. We had that 6/4 measure when we did Elk River Blues. Club-footed jib is not crooked because it uses a different time signature. But it's not only traditional tunes that do this. So let me, I want to share. I'm excited to share this. I think some of you have seen this, but here is the cover artwork for my forthcoming book from Hal Leonard, which is 51st songs to play on first 50 songs to play on your mountain dulcimer. And when they contracted with me to do this, I started doing all traditional tunes because that's what I'm used to. They said, nope, that's not what we want. What we want is we want to see 40% or 80% of them being under copyright because we buy those permissions or we license those. So that cover arrived last week, and now I'm going through all of their edits and changes and confirming some things and disagreeing on some things. And so we got a process we got to go through before it's ready, but it's getting closer. In this is what I wanted to show you. There are some popular tunes that do this same thing. So let's see, what do we have up here? Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire. Now, I wrote those as straight. In there, comparing with other things, those should have 2/4 measures in there. Now, where I have that showing up is down here. Now, you might have seen this before, you may not have. The C means common time, which means 4/4. And I'm going to start at A. Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring, bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. You get to this place and you see all of a sudden in the time signature place, there's a 2/4 measure. And it's what this does is replace that in the same way that a key change would replace what was already going on. So it's giving me a warning that this measure is going to be 2/4, and then it goes right back to the common timer 4/4. Now, the rest of the song doesn't do that. In their edited version, they've got more 2/4 measures throughout the tune. So we're going to get to do it more. But that was one of those challenges as I was trying to write this down. It's like, this isn't coming out excuse me, even. I've got to figure out what's going on here. So this is one of those in the arranging class I'm teaching. One of the things that shows up is where we have something that gets in the way of what we would normally happen. Here's Dolly Parton's Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging you, please don't take my hand. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't get me just because you can. So you notice that right away at the very beginning, there's this. So this would be an example of, we could either say we're going to be in 6/4 for one measure and then 4/4 for the rest, or because this is happening so often, I could do a 6/4 measure here, 4/4, 4/4, 4/4, 4/4, 6/4, and then, or this could be the 6/4, and then we're back to 4/4, or I can change the key signature to be the 2/4 right here. Now, as you're singing it, you probably don't even hear any kind of crookedness. You just hear, wow, this is the tune. I like this tune. You know, it's the way it goes. Right? It's coming, Jamie. Now, there's one other example I want to share with you because I think it slips in as even the Jolene is pretty quickly, you figure it out. Ring of Fire is definitely there. And Johnny Cash was known kind of having a floating kind of sense of timing. If you stayed on the one, you would be okay. I got to do this with a Lakota holy man / and Episcopal priest. He was a shaman and an Episcopal priest. And he wrote all these wonderful songs that he was recording at the same studio I recorded. And so the owner of the studio asked me if I'd come in and play bass for his sessions. And I was trying to follow his chord changes. And usually I'm looking at he couldn't do it with me in front of him. He had to have me behind him. And I was like, oh, but you're not regular in where you change your chords. They, the different verses expand and contract. And the engineer says, so this is one of your Johnny Cash kind of songs, right? Where the vibe is. So I just didn't do a lot of 1/5, 1/5, which is typical for a bass. I stayed on one and then changed when the chord changed that way. And that way I was always ready to move when it was time to move. So let's look at this one other example, which is a little bit surprising. I think when I came to write it down, One Tin Soldier from the theme from the movie Billy Jack. Listen, children, to a story that was written long ago. And the kingdom on the mountain and the valley folk below. So it doesn't happen in the singing part of the song. It just, until we get to have it for their very own. Go ahead and hey. So there's something, it breaks it up, the 4/4 pattern with a 2/4 measure. But because it has this melodic interlude that's happening, ba-dum bum bum ba-da-dum bum, da-da-da-da-da. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could say that the extra beat is here, but the pulse really ba-da-dum bum. So that's where I chose to do that there when I was notating it. So those are 3 pop examples. 2 of them are in the country world, and 1 in the more pop music kind of world. But crooked tunes show up a lot of places. And thank you for putting in my Bonnie Light Horseman. One of the things I want to ask is, what are other crooked tunes that you know about or play or love? Because those are the ones that always get my attention. And sometimes I will hear something that's crooked and it's really not, which is almost a little bit of a disappointment. It's like, oh, I thought that was going to be crooked. So I'm waiting for your submissions. Oh, the Cherokee Shuffle. Yeah, I was working with another student who was learning that tune, and we talked about that. Thank you for bringing that up. Not always does that get crooked, and this illustrates the human tendency of which is one of the reasons I like crooked tunes is because they they feel a little bit more, they feel free from the constraints of a square thing. They're not necessarily dance tunes. If you're dancing, crooked tunes are really not the best to to accompany a dance, because the people will be in the air when the beat hits again, and they'll come down in the second half. The second time they go through, they're off beat, and that can be fun too. But um, as traditional music is passed back and forth based on how it feels and things like that, it's more likely that we tend to harmonize or rub off the rough edges and make things fit into conform to the patterns that we're more accustomed to. Oh, 16 tons does it. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I like it too. And as it comes time to I love cricket tunes, and people who play cricket tunes and love them. Rick Thumb on the hammered dulcimer, Ken Kolodner on the fiddle. Um, Aaron May loves cricket tunes on the mountain dulcimer. Um, Jim Miller on guitar or dulcimer, whatever, from out in Tennessee. He loves cricket tunes too. So if you're looking for who loves in the dulcimer world the crooked tunes, those are some people: Rick Thumb on the hammer dulcimer, Aaron May on the mountain dulcimer. Um, I said another person. Oh, Ken Kolodner on the fiddle and the hammer dulcimer. I'll bet Brad loves cricket tunes too. Ken's son, Brad, is a wonderful banjo player and a collector of old time tunes. Um, Jim Miller in Eastern Tennessee, out by Bristol area, also a cricket tune aficionado. Um, so if you're looking for those kind of things, those are some people to follow and hang out with. Don Petty on a mountain dulcimer. He collects old time tunes. He loves them all, but he'll have some cricket tunes too, where there's sometimes just one measure added, or I mean one beat added rather than two. And some of those are not being called to mind right now. Might be good to just put together a list. Um, so if you're watching this after the broadcast is done, feel free to add your favorite crooked tune into the comment section here. I'm going to add Jolene. And I'm going to add one tin soldier. I put the I in the wrong place. Not tin. One time fork. That's what we're going to call that. Yeah. Um, let's see. What other one do we do? Elk River Blues. He's from Ernie Carpenter's from West Virginia. Wild Rose of the Mountain. I don't know if that's a Tommy Gerald tune, but I know that I've seen him play it. Tater Patch. Ring of Fire. So those are the ones that we've talked about specifically today. So if you're heading out to learn some tunes, and then I see their Bonnie Light Horseman and 16 Tons. As those come up to mind, come back and leave them here. We'll put together a big master list of cricket tunes for fun. Well, before I go, I want to call attention to some things that are coming up. So the Berkeley Dulcimer Gathering registration is open for that. Early registration deadline ends on April 22nd. And I'm excited to be the hammer dulcimer headlining artist. Thomasina Levy is going to be our headlining mountain dulcimer artist. We have workshops on Saturday and longer seminar type workshops on Sunday. And Dusty Thorburn, Deborah Hamoras, Dave Haas, Kay Bolin, Erin May Lewis, and Rob Raritan and Laura Devine Burnett are going to be there for workshops and leading jams and things. On Patty Amelot is going to be the other hammer dulcimer instructor. So that one, the registration is open right now, and BerkeleyDulcimerGathering.com is where you go for that. Right now, there is a special deal. There's a referral thing. You get a free T-shirt, and if you refer somebody who signs up, they get a free T-shirt. So it's a twofer. How can you beat that? And coming up later this month, in just a couple of weeks, is our monthly workshop, and this time it'll be with Heidi Muller from Joseph, Oregon, who is my neighbor out here, and she is going to be talking about how to use your mountain dulcimer as a songwriting tool. So it's, instead of me thinking I want to write a song about something in my life, in the world, it's what we do is we focus on letting the instrument lead us forward into whatever the song idea is. It's a different way of writing music. And sometimes when we are writing music that way, new things show up that wouldn't have showed up if we were just walking and writing a song. And, some people say, well, my instrument is a crutch. That's okay. When your leg's broken, you need a crutch. So those are things that are happening, that are coming up. I bet there's other things happening in the world of dulcimers that I'm just not keeping up with everything. But I'm excited that you came to join and pay attention to some cricket tunes today. As always, this is archived here on Facebook. It's archived on our YouTube channel, as well as in the past events section of Dulcimer Crossing. And workshop member levels, workshop members and mentor members get access to that entire archive, as well as today. And they also get access to the live workshop without extra cost. So, Talon, thanks. You're welcome. Bye-bye. Instead of a crutch, it helps stabilize you. Ooh, I like that. That is a T-shirt. There you go. You can make dozens of dollars on T-shirts like that. Well, friends, that's all I have for us today. I will look forward to seeing you next time. As always, if you have topics or ideas that you would like to see addressed or responded to or engaged with during the Wednesday live streams, please write to me, Steve at Owl Mountain Music, or leave your comment here, and we'll work them in. You're welcome, Kelly. Bye-bye, everyone.